There was a time in my life when I trusted complete strangers more than I trusted myself. And if something felt off, I would explain it away. And if someone hurt me, I would spend more time trying to understand their behavior than paying attention to how it affected me. And for a long time, that felt normal. I grew up with narcissistic family members. I was married twice to men who, at best, had narcissistic traits. And I had a few narcissistic friendships throughout my life. And after decades of that, I became really good at questioning myself. In this video, I want to share how narcissistic relationships taught me not to trust myself and some of the things that I did to rebuild that trust again. How narcissistic relationships destroy self trust. One of the reasons narcissistic relationships are so damaging is because they slowly teach you that your reality isn't reliable. You bring up something that hurts you, and suddenly you're the problem. You remember a conversation, and they remember it differently. You feel uncomfortable about something, and you're told that you're overreacting. You set a boundary and somehow end up defending yourself for the next 2 hours. After enough of those experiences, you start to do something really dangerous. You stop checking in with yourself and you start checking in with everyone else. You become an expert at reading other people while losing connection with yourself. And I got really good at that. I could tell you what everyone else was feeling, and I could tell you why they acted the way they did. But ask me what I felt, what I needed, or what I wanted, and suddenly things got real fuzzy. And that's a problem because when you stop trusting yourself, every decision becomes exhausting, every relationship becomes confusing, and every red flag becomes a debate. And that's exactly where I found myself. I started believing my own experiences. One of the first shifts happened when I stopped trying to determine whether my experiences were valid enough. Now, that sounds ridiculous when I say that out loud, but I spent years doing it. Something would happen, it would hurt, and instead of acknowledging that it hurt, I'd immediately begin investigating whether I had a right to feel hurt. And one day I realized something. If something hurts me, it hurts me. That's information. It doesn't mean the other person is evil. It doesn't mean I'm right about everything, but it does mean my experience deserves attention. That was really big for me because for years I had been looking to other people to confirm what I already knew was true. I learned to listen to my body. My body knew things long before my mind was willing to admit it. I just wasn't listening. I'd walk away from certain people feeling exhausted. I'd feel tension in my shoulders and a knot in my stomach. Something would feel off, and then I'd immediately start explaining it away. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe. My body was practically waving a giant red flag, and I was standing there saying, I'm sure it's nothing. My nervous system was working overtime trying to get my attention, and eventually I started paying attention to those signals instead of arguing with them. I stopped arguing with my intuition. This one was hard because I had spent decades talking myself out of my intuition. I can't tell you how many times that I got a bad feeling about someone and then immediately started giving them the benefit of the doubt. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that every feeling is accurate. I'm saying my intuition deserved a seat at the table, and for years, it wasn't even allowed in the room. When something felt off, I'd explain it away. When I saw red flags, I'd minimize it or ignore it altogether. And when I saw a pattern, I started making excuses for it. Eventually, I learned to become more curious about my intuition instead of immediately dismissing it. I stopped defending my decisions. This one changed a lot. I used to feel like every decision needed a detailed explanation. And if I said no, I needed to explain myself. If I changed my mind, I needed to explain myself. If I didn't want to go do something, yep, you guessed it, I needed to explain myself. It was exhausting. I spent so many years around people who challenged my reality that I got used to defending every choice that I made. But healthy people don't require you to explain yourself every time you make a decision. Sometimes the answer is simply, I don't want to, or that doesn't work for me. Or sometimes it's simply no, and that's enough. The more I trusted myself, the less I felt the need to convince everyone else. I started keeping small promises to myself. This is where things became real because trust isn't built through motivational quotes. It's built through evidence. And for years, I made promises to myself that I didn't keep. I'd say that I was going to do something important and then put everyone else's needs ahead of my own, again and again and again. And eventually, I started making much smaller promises, things that I could actually follow through on, like keeping an appointment I made for myself instead of canceling it because someone else needed something. And every time I followed through, I was sending myself a message. I can count on me. I started seeking peace. This one surprised me. For a long time, chaos felt normal and familiar. I spent so much of my life navigating difficult situations that calm felt really suspicious. You know what I mean? Everything's quiet, nobody's upset, nobody's creating drama, and somehow part of you is still waiting for the other shoe to drop. Healing taught me that peace isn't boring. It's not a sign that something is missing. It's a sign that your nervous system isn't fighting for its life. And these days, I pay attention to what brings me peace. I became my own safe person. This probably was the biggest shift of all. For most of my life, I was looking for safety on the outside of myself. I thought if I found the right relationship, the right friend, the right person, then I'd finally feel secure. But what I eventually learned was that the relationship that I needed most was the one with myself. I learned how to sit with my emotions instead of running from them. I learned how to comfort myself when things got hard, and I learned how to trust that even if I made a mistake, I'd figure it out. And that's when things changed. I stopped feeling like I was constantly looking for someone to rescue me from life because I knew I could handle life. And that's what I think self trust is. It's not believing that you'll always make the right decision, it's knowing that even if you don't, you'll be okay. If you've spent years around narcissistic people and you find yourself questioning your feelings, your decisions, and your instincts, there may be a reason for that. When you're constantly told that you're wrong, you're too sensitive, or overreacting, it's easy to lose trust in yourself. The good news is trust can be rebuilt, and eventually you stop looking for someone else to tell you that you're okay because you learn how to trust yourself again. And if this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear which part of rebuilding self trust has been the most challenging for you. And if you're on your own healing journey, make sure to subscribe because that's what we talk about around here. Take care of yourself this week, and I'll see you next time.